Hey, if it's okay with you, I'd like to make today a little bit more personal. Hi, I'm Paul, and I pronounce Dutch words and names the way a Dutchman would pronounce them. I want to answer the question, why am I recording these videos about the Netherlands, Dutch language, and the way the Netherlands has shaped part of this world we live in? Why am I doing that? Because I don't live in the Netherlands, in case you didn't know. I moved away from Holland 25 years ago. I was an immigrant. I moved to the United States at the end of 1999, and I've never left. Well, I've been to visit the Netherlands a few times. I watched some Dutch TV, listened to some Dutch radio, but that's about it, really. But most of my family and my friends are still there. So why am I still talking about that? First of all, I enjoy doing these videos because it means I get to talk to you. I enjoy meeting new people, even though we can't meet in person. I do have a sense of who you are because you comment, you write back to me, you keep me sharp when I make mistakes, and you give me ideas for new videos. You inspire me, and I get to meet people like you from all over the world that I never knew existed. So that's part of the fun of it, connecting with other people. And I get to talk about one of my favorite topics, the Netherlands, because the Netherlands is a pretty special place. If you've never been there, go there and see how different the world is in the Netherlands. And that's when I realized, when I came to the United States, that I never knew how special the Netherlands is. You say you try to really appreciate something once you don't have it anymore. And that was really what happened with me. Because, you take so many things for granted at the place where you live, that you don't know that what you're experiencing is actually unique and special. And that's what I'm remembering now. The more and the longer I'm away from the Netherlands, the more I start missing it, and the more I start realizing how remarkable place it is and how much of an impact the Dutch people have had and are still having on the world. And I want to pass that on to you. For me, it's a way to keep that connection going. Recording these videos is also something that appeals to me professionally. I don't know if you knew that, but before I started recording these videos, I was working as a voice actor. I've been a voice actor for about 40 years. I recorded audiobooks, documentaries, video games, commercials. I was the invisible voice. You could hear me, you couldn't see me. And I wondered if it were possible for me to make the transition from being invisible to being more visible. Because I was kind of scared, I was nervous about being on camera, and I didn't know if I was able to do that successfully. And so for me, this is kind of a dare. It came out of a dare. Try to be on camera and see how people respond. Try to pass on some information and see how people respond. And so far, so good. I never knew that so many people would watch this on an almost daily basis. I try to record a new video every other day. So for me, it's phenomenal to get the feedback and to be no longer the invisible voice, but the visible voice. It's fun to do. Connect with people that I never knew were there. Also, this is a more serious reason. You probably didn't know that I had a stroke a few years ago. It was March 28th. No, it was March 26th. See, there we go. March 26th, 2018. I was recording some voiceovers in my soundproof booth, and I got a terrible headache, a headache like I'd never had before. Part of my body was paralyzed. I fell to the floor out of my desk chair, and my speech was slurred, and I knew that this was going to be it. I was not going to survive it. I knew I was dying. Not something I would wish upon anybody, but it happened. I had no idea why it happened. There's no why, by the way. There's no reason why unreasonable things happen. But it happened to me. And when I woke up, hours later, I woke up in a hospital bed, not knowing who I was or how I had gotten there. In fact, when you have a stroke, it affects your brain. It kills brain cells that do not grow back. When I woke up, I did not know where I was, who I was, what happened to me. There was a lot of stuff in my life I had to relearn. I had to train my brain because the brain cells that were responsible for my memories had faded away. Maybe that explains some of my silliness or my mistakes that I make on camera. Because I don't have the brain that most people have. I probably have half a brain, if at all. Anyway, I had to find a way to train my brain on a daily basis. And that's part of what I'm doing with these videos. I force myself to look up information about the Netherlands, about words, about people, about inventions that are from the Netherlands. I look at the facts, I memorize these facts, and then I try to pass these facts on to you in the most entertaining way. From memory. I'm training my brain. So once you're watching this, and while you're watching this, know that you are part of my therapy, of my recovery, because I'm still not fully recovered, even though some people say they can't tell that I've had a stroke or not, which is wonderful, because I'm one of the lucky people. I can do most things that most people can do, but one of the things that left the biggest mark on me is my memory. So this is part of me training my brain, doing these silly videos about the Netherlands. So that's it. There you have it. Those are, in a nutshell, the things that motivate me to record these short videos. Thank you for being part of my journey. Have a great day. Tot ziens. Bye-bye.